Hi, I'm Denise Young from Royal LePage Prime. I'm going to be making a tomato sauce today, and just a basic one that I can use in recipes throughout the winter. I'm going to be freezing it as there's so much controversy on the safety of canning these days. So we're just going to do something really basic and then freeze it in Ziploc bags flat so it doesn't take up too much room in my very little freezer space. Okay, so I'm just taking a paring knife and I'm going to core the center here and put a shallow X on the bottom. It just makes cooking them a little faster and a little easier to tear off the skin after. Just taking some of the bruises off as well. When we're doing a basic tomato sauce, you can be picky with your tomatoes. A lot of people are. I just like to use whatever I can get on sale. Again, it's just going to be a basic sauce that I'm going to use in so many other recipes. So chances are I'm going to be adding like garlic and oregano, basil, whatever. I have a couple recipes I love to make. Chili and this lasagna spaghetti squash recipe that I absolutely love. With lots of cheese and stuff, and you just need a little bit of tomato sauce in it just to give it some kick. Okay, so that's the type of stuff I'm going to be doing with it. Maybe some regular spaghetti sauce, and I'm going to try tomato soup this year. I haven't made my own tomato soup before. Just some basics. So while we're doing this, we're going to talk about the housing market. Currently, it has been very slow this fall, actually all summer, but it's great for buyers because buyers have been able to pick and choose what they want to purchase. They're not rushing to get into a house that they really haven't had time to properly inspect and make informed decisions about. So it's a great time to be buying. And a great time if you have a house to sell. I mean, it takes a little longer maybe to sell, but you can actually write condition to the sale of your house. You can write condition to an inspection. There's all kinds of things like that. Sellers are needing to be a little bit more creative in marketing their homes, but it's giving a lot more people the opportunity to get into a house than before. We still have a good amount of sales. So I don't want to lead you in the wrong direction on that. We just have a lot more listings on the market currently than we have in the last probably 8 to 10 years. So it's a great time for buyers. You can think of anybody that's renting that might benefit from talking to a realtor who might be able to help them put together a plan to purchase a house in the next year or two. Have them give me a call or give me their name and number and I'll call them. I'd be happy to sit down with them and help them plan a budget and put together a plan that will help them get things ready to purchase a home down the road. And there's so many options out there. Maybe they don't even realize that they can purchase one now using their RSPs. Or something like that. It's a great way to utilize the equity they already have and make it grow. Okay, so we've processed our tomatoes and we are going to just peel them now. They peel quite easy once they've been processed. Generally, you can just use your fingers. I keep the knife handy just in case there's a tough spot or not, or whatnot. But yeah, they just peel off. Just make sure it's peeled all the way, and then you want to break it up into the blender. I want to puree my sauce. I don't want a lot of big chunks. If you want it chunkier, you don't even have to put it in the blender. You could just go straight to the pot. But if you want it in between, you could just pulse it a couple times. Okay, so we have put some of our tomatoes, we've peeled them, processed them, now we're going to puree them. I think a stick blender would probably be better. Still pretty chunky, so it will splash when you dump it out. Alright, so that's what we're doing. We're just going to keep peeling tomatoes and then putting them in our jug so that we can puree them and pour them in the pot. So I'll just do that for a few minutes. And then we're going to start all over with processing again until we've done. I've got about 15 to 17 pounds of tomatoes here. It's not a huge amount. It's not going to like feed us for the winter or anything. It's just a small amount that can get us through, you know, some of those really busy nights. You could do this throughout the winter too when tomatoes are on sale, whenever you find them. You just grab a bunch and start. You gotta pulse it a few times. Then once it gets going, it's going. Tomatoes, pulse them. Once we're done that, then we can put our water back on to boil and start processing the rest of these tomatoes so that we can then blend them or peel them and then blend them. And then once we have everything in the pot, we can throw in a couple of bay leaves and let it cook for a little while. Okay, so we have our water boiling. We're going to put in some tomatoes that have been cored and scored on the bottom. I'm only doing about 6 at a time because that's all that'll fit in my ice water. So you want to do them for about a minute or until the skin starts to crack. I'll show you like that, so it's cracked, so that it's going to be easier to peel. So we put it into ice water, which I'm going to put more ice in my water because it's all gone. And then we transfer it out into a bowl. So those are ones we've already done. Could use the timer. The timer might make things easier. So we'll just give it another few seconds there before we take them out, and then we're going to do our last couple batches here and start to peel these ones, put them in the blender, and I think we're going to have a really good amount of tomato sauce in the pot. We're going to do the timer. That way if I start talking, I don't forget about the tomatoes. Okay, so let's see if these ones are cool enough. Yeah, they are. Holy mackerel, that is really coming off easy now. now that we have all the sauce in the pot, we're just going to put a bay leaf in, and I had too much for my big pot, but I had to put in a small pot as well. I'm going to put 2 bay leaves in the big one and 1 in the small one. It's a small bay leaf in the small one. Okay. I'm going to get a little bit more than 2 cups in there, so open it up a bit. Well, there shouldn't be much air in there now because I've got it all squashed in this cup. So then it should come out fairly airtight. And then I can just lay them all flat in the freezer. I'm going to be able to stack them once they're frozen. We're just going to put the bag right over top of the mug. It's going to help hold our bag open while we scoop in some sauce. And I want almost 3 cups, so I do have to slide it up to fill it up the rest of the way. So this should keep things so that there's barely any air in here because it's in the cup, it's keeping it nice and tight. So now when I pull it out of here, it's very airtight. Thank you very much for joining me in my kitchen, and we'll see you next time.